Welcome, everybody, to the Genesis Mindset. And in this one, I think this is going to be an extremely important episode. It's not about green candles, but it's about buying and selling and what you should be doing in particular, Pulschain right now, because this is the big moment right now where I'm starting to see signs. I'm starting to see signs from the world. I'm hearing signs from the world. I'm seeing the universe showing me what I should be doing according to market psychology. I think this is something that everybody really needs to understand. For me, it's become so crystal clear. The clearer my mind gets, the more in tune I become with the world, the easier it is to see these things. And this idea of market psychology really impacted my consciousness when I first got into Forex trading many years ago. Oh, oh, it was probably the worst experience of my life, to be honest. My wife had just left me, and I was trying to show her that I was a man by investing our money. And I lost it all. I lost it all in Forex. But it taught me such a fantastic lesson. I haven't given up on leverage trading at all, actually. I don't really care what everybody says about it being a scam. I saw, wow, the potential here to make money is phenomenal, in the same way that it's phenomenal that you can also lose money. I learned that the hard way, but I haven't given up, and I certainly haven't succeeded. But I've got systems in place at the moment that I'm doing. I've done like back testing for 20 years. I've done forward testing for 6 months on demo, and now I'm in the process of doing forward testing with live money, and I'm up 23% in just 3 weeks. So I'm actually extremely excited about the potential of this particular system. That's taken me many years to put together, but I didn't give up. I didn't give up. The point of that little story is when I first got into it and I had these trades in and I lost all my money, my consciousness was really tied to the world. I've always had this perspective that my consciousness is tied to the world because it's 100% true. So when there are vibrations on the other side of the world, for example, a tremendous amount of fear, the ocean of that vibration comes and hits my consciousness, or this receiving consciousness, and it feels it. And I'll never forget that moment where I had a trade and I wasn't looking at my iPad, and then just all of a sudden this huge fear rushed into me and I was like, oh, holy shit. And I felt compelled to look at the charts. And I looked at the trade that I'd done, and it was the biggest, most reckless trade. I didn't have any risk management. I didn't know anything about news. And it was a CPI decision that basically went against me. At that time, when I felt that emotion, I wasn't thinking about those things. It just came into my consciousness. Okay. So there's something about the universe. There's something about the psychology of the ocean of humanity. And from then, I've been obsessed with this idea, and I've really only just become more and more in tune with it. For example, at the end of the last bull market, when my uncle, who was saying cryptocurrency is a scam, was asking me how to buy Shiba Inu, I should have known that was a top. I should have known. But I also was swept away in that euphoria. I had just hit seven figures in my portfolio, and it was something that I had no consciousness. I wasn't prepared for it at all. So I got what I deserved. I wasn't able to capitalize fully on those seven figures. So I've been obsessed with managing and developing my mindset, because I think everybody thinks, oh, cryptocurrency, you got the 4 year cycles, you just put money in and you're going to make all this money, especially now with Pulsechain, because Hex has that track record of 10,000x. The amount that got sacrificed for it with the no expectations is a testament to this idea that there is expectations. People are expecting that things are going to go to 10,000x, and things aren't looking good at the moment. And I'm starting to see those people who were just expecting that things were going to be easy and they were going to make all that money are really starting to feel the pain right now. So I really want to help you understand this from the perspective that I understand it. And so with that, let us get into the episode. So welcome to the Genesis Mindset. As always, this is just my opinion. It's just my mindset for investing, trading, and life. And this is really just my journey from being a wrecked pleb to hitting seven figures, and now really, okay, staying in that seven figure zone. That is the goal here. And so the whole idea of this channel is to show the mindset that I've utilized in that process, and I'll have the receipts in the videos. So that's what it's really all about, because I'm very big on mindset. If you have your mindset right, you can achieve anything. So this is not actually financial advice. I'm just a guy, a little dumb who sees the world in a particular way. And I always try to stay open. I always try to stay humble, and I always just try to accept the world as it is and go with the flow. That's really what I'm all about. So I think mindset is everything. So with that, Pulsechain, where are we at the moment? Is it time to dump your Pulsechain? Is it really That's it. Pulsechain is dead. Get rid of your money, save what you've got, or is it time to actually ape in more? I will let you decide. I will tell you what I'm doing, but I will let you decide. So first of all, oh, bugger. Oh, that is such a sweet picture in the background. I'm going to have to, sorry, just give me 1 second. Animation, there we go. All right, because you got to see this sweet picture. So psychology, you are the universe. The universe is you. We think that I am this body. I was born in this year, in this place, with this name, with this family. I am that. That is the programming from the life that I've lived in here. So I'm separated from the universe. I call this a computer. I call that a fan. I call that the sky. I call that the ground. I divide everything inside of this mind. That is how the mind works. That's how this robot in here thinks, all that programming. But in actuality, it's a scientific fact that it is just the one whole existence. It's one infinite and eternally living whole. So people have, from inside of their minds, from inside of their concepts, from inside of their thoughts, have divided even that idea up and labeled it as many different things as God or Buddha or Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, Mother Nature, soul, spirit, energy, light, quantum mechanics, Big Bang, whatever it is. Every different part of society is called it something different. But in actuality, it's just a one whole existence. So this existence is like a cell in that body. And just like in this body, I can't pluck out one of these cells and say, oh, that's Stephen 1/7 trillionth. It's actually just Stephen. And Stephen is actually just universe. So in the perspective of that totality, everything is just that one existence. So when I think of psychology, I think people think of psychology from the perspective of, what's happening in my mind, my own unique, separate mind that's separate from everything else. But your psychology is part of the whole, is part of the totality. And I'm going to show that. And I'm going to show how you sit in that spectrum so you can start to understand for yourself where you sit in that spectrum so you can actually develop your consciousness to actually get more out of the market. So everybody knows this, the psychology of a market cycle. So this is a very famous chart, and I'm actually going to go deep diving into this, adding my spin on it, my little unique perspective on this, and understanding it from the perspective of the whole. And so for me, this idea is more of a fact than you listening to me. That concept of you listening to me is just a concept in my mind. The fact is everything is just one. And so if you understand yourself as part of that spectrum of the market and understanding that the spectrum of the market is always showing you where the spectrum of the market is, then you can really start to capitalize on the market. So let's get into it. So first, I'm going to show our boy, Habibi Sommi, everybody's friend, Captain Sommi. So I want to show this. So I'm just going to show this little clip first, and then I'll talk about it after. So he's talking about the martini guy. Let's have a look.
Look at it, all these times that I'm very.
Look at it.
Look at it, all these times that I'm very confident the bottom is in. The bottom is in. Bitcoin bottom is within 20% of its bottom. Buy more, buy more, buy more. Look at all these times, and look at this, just crack the whole way. By the way, this still wasn't even the low. This was before FTX. Bang. Okay, so this was after FTX. But you can see here, right? Every single time. I bought the bottom today. That's as cheap as you can get in. And then it went bang again. So I remember this influencer as well. Guess what? This influencer here, I called the bottom of Bitcoin using him. I literally called the bottom. Go back to my Twitter. I called it. Because I posted this. And I said, wait a minute. This dude, you're telling me he's been bullish this whole time. And you know down here, 15, 16K, friends? At 16K, I remember, he made a video and he said, guys, one more flush to like 13, 14K, then you should be good for a dip buy. Okay? I was just watching the whole time. I was like, bro, you've literally been buying the bottom on leverage using your commission, retailers, inside allocation, whatever it is, making your money, okay? You've been buying the bottom on leverage and posting it on YouTube every single week and getting destroyed on leverage. Millions of dollars blown, friends. Millions of dollars. And every time it would tick up, he'd make a video and then it would retrace and then he'd just disappear for a week or two, okay? this whole time, and now you're saying it's going down. This has to be the bottom. I'm like, this has to be the bottom. It was the bottom. It was literally the bottom. Okay.
The martini guy is just an expression of the whole. And so his degree of expertise, his degree of understanding fits into that spectrum of the whole. This is going to be a really tricky concept to kind of wrap your head around. And it's difficult to describe because it's kind of trying to describe the intangible, the ineffable. So I'll do my best, but those little clues from the world where these guys are consistently wrong. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert. I come on here and I say, I'm here to learn. I'm here to just show you my process. And if this process succeeds, then there's something to be said of that process. And that process is not just like, oh, I'm the greatest person in the world. And look at me, I invented this process all for myself. I'm trying to learn from the best of the best. I'm trying to take the mindset of the best of the best. That's what I'm actually trying to do. That's what I'm actually trying to apply. And so I'm actually becoming the process. I'm not here saying I'm so great. I'm so smart. I'm trying to become the process. So this process that I'm showing should show that process. So when I look at these guys like that martini guy, and this is not a criticism on him at all. This is not a criticism on influencers, but these guys got into Bitcoin all those years ago when there was like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Litecoin. It's like you can't even lose. You can't lose. And then the 2017 cycle where there was all these people who became geniuses, it's like you had 50 cryptocurrencies to choose from. It's like you literally couldn't lose. You just throw money into something and you can't lose. And it was very much also quite similar for the last bull run, but there's a lot more coins, so the likelihood of losing is higher. And now it's getting harder and harder. It's not getting easier and easier. So these people who actually haven't really truly mastered their mind, they've observed certain things. So it's not a criticism on them. That they are in tune with it to some degree, but they're also showing where there's weaknesses in their mindset. And so when you get these guys like that martini guy saying, this is the bottom, 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 and then finally it says, all right, it's going down more, then that's the bottom, because that is where on that spectrum they sit, and it's like, their consciousness can't handle it anymore, bang, and it's like, I'm switching from that perspective. And that's the precise moment where everything reverses, because in that field of the spectrum, that's where they sit. So let's have a look at this. So the energetic spectrum, so try and understand it from this perspective. So this is the spectrum of light, chakras, whatever you want to call it. I don't really sort of follow any of that sort of stuff, but it's just a spectrum, right? So the universe is made of energy and light. So it's just matter that's condensed. So humans are actually just energetic beings. It's not really woo-woo. It's as it is. It's just how it is. So on this side of the spectrum, this is the impatient. So on the left, I'm showing, like, I mean, even from the perspective of chakras, it's like, your root chakra, this is where all the base, all your lust and all those things come from. And on the other side is like your higher self. So in my opinion, it very much does hold true. So this is the impatient. This is people with low emotional intelligence, so low EQ. They FOMO into things. They're greedy. They don't know when to sell. They buy at the wrong times. They have expectations that they deserve money from the market. I'm just going to buy Pulschain and it's going to do a 10,000x, and I'm just going to take my money out when it does a 10,000x. What if it never does a 10,000x? I've actually heard people who say, I'm just going to hold to 10,000x. What if it never does that? What if it never does that? I bloody hope it does. I really hope it does. But what if it never does? You really don't know. The internet could blow up, or could come and hit the earth. Who knows? You really don't know. They're impulsive, so they don't have control over their emotions. They're really just like, again, this relates to the low EQ. They're lazy, so they don't study what they're putting their money into. So they have no conviction. When you don't actually understand what you're putting money into, you have no conviction. If you're just following your friends or your family or whatever, oh yeah, I'm just going to put money into this and I'm just going to follow what you say, then you have no conviction. So when the price starts going against you, it's like, oh no, I got to get out of here. I don't want anything to do with this, because you don't actually understand what you've put your money into, and they're negatively minded. So this is not a criticism on anyone who is like this. If I reflect on myself, I'm by no means perfect. I am an extremely impatient person. I've had to develop patience. I used to have a very low emotional intelligence. I really just succumbed to all of my emotions, expectations, really. Well, actually, let's get into the positive side of it. So I'm not saying like this is bad. I'm saying if you recognize any of these characteristics in you, then you really need to start to develop it and shift it to the other side of the spectrum, because on the other side of the spectrum is where all the successful investors exist. It's all about the mind. It's all about the mind. It's not about, oh, I picked Amazon or I bought Bitcoin when it was in 2001 and I held until here and I just happened to get that fantastic thing. It's all about the mind. The people who held that long really had the conviction in it and they were right. So it's really all about the mind. Everything that you perceive in the world is based on what you have in your mind. So these people on this end of the spectrum, they are the patient. They're the people like the Warren Buffetts who say, buy when there's blood in the streets. Be fearful when everybody's greedy and greedy when everybody's fearful. This is a high degree of emotional intelligence. And notice when he says, everybody is fearful, be greedy. When everybody is greedy, be fearful, because you are not just this unique individual snowflake that has this psychology that's separated from everything else. Your psychology is part of the totality of humanity. If everybody else is feeling fear, you also are feeling fear. If everybody else is feeling euphoric, you also are feeling euphoric. But high emotional intelligence says, oh, I'm feeling euphoric. I should take some profits because everybody else is feeling euphoric. This means it's at the end. And everybody who is good at investing understands that in themselves and starts to take profit out. Gratitude. They have gratitude. So they don't have expectations for the world. They have an abundance mindset. Expectations is a lack mindset. Gratitude is an abundant mindset. They're just happy to be in anything. They're grateful to the universe. They're grateful to the opportunities. Are you grateful to cryptocurrency? Are you really grateful for cryptocurrency? Really ask yourself that. I don't see the gratitude everywhere. And again, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm always grateful either, but I do my best to be grateful to the universe that I'm born in this time where I can just click a few buttons on a computer and make millions of dollars. There's really not a lot of effort that's required. Yes, there's a lot of study. Yes, there's a lot of pain that you have to go through and a lot of suffering, and you do have to work to put money into it. But if you work your ass off for 2 or 3 years, buy the right kinds of things, you can be retired for the rest of your life. You couldn't get those opportunities 50 years ago, 80 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. There was no such thing. So are you grateful to the world for providing these opportunities to you? Gratitude opens your heart and your mind to the world, so you're actually open to receive more of it. It's actually an attractive force. They're calculated, so they're not impulsive. So they're calculated. They're really understanding and researching. So what am I actually putting my money into? And because I understand what I'm putting my money into, I have high conviction. So I'm going to stick with my plan, and they're positively minded. So if I look at Pulsechain, for example, I'm always listening to cryptocurrency videos. I'm always listening to things about Pulschain. I want to hear all the different perspectives. I'm always trying to listen to different things that's happening in the cryptocurrency market as well, so I can hear different kinds of perspectives. There's only a limited amount of time in the day, but I do my best. I want to understand the market. I want to understand what I put my money into. It was the same for a troper. When I saw a troper, there was something, my being was like so drawn to this thing. And again, when I go back to that story about Forex, where the ocean of fear hit my heart, and it was like, what is this? The vibration of the universe. I felt that. And it's the same for a troper for me. And I really tried to understand it first. And my friend was like, go buy Teddy. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And then I just started looking at it and really gravitated towards it, really started to understand it, was passionate. And it's like, holy shit, there's something going on here. And then I put my money in. So as that is going down, I don't mind. I've got conviction. And I've accepted the fact that if it goes to zero, oh well, I did my best. What are you going to do about it? Same as Pulsechain. If it goes to zero, I did my best. I'm totally prepared to accept that fate. I'm totally prepared to accept that fate. I don't want it to, because it means it's going to set me back a year, maybe 2 years. I don't want that to be the case, but I'm totally prepared for it. I have that conviction. Nothing in Pulsechain has changed. And all that I see is that bullish divergence of the fundamentals going up and the price going down. So it's like somewhere along the way, the price is going to have to start matching the fundamentals. And B Roots made a really good point today. I wanted to see what his perspective is and why he's so bullish. He was talking about he's going to rub it in Solana's face, or the Solana holders' face, that Pulschain is going to do at least 2 times more gains than what they have in Solana. Very interesting perspective. And I really want to, I know that he's really bullish on Pulschain, but I wanted to understand why. And one thing that he was talking about was, now Richard Hart has made the fees 0, which means millions of dollars that are coming in. If there's a small percentage of fees that are coming across the bridge, millions of dollars, and the fees that can be like hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees, or like millions of dollars in fees. But 0 now, it's like you're maximizing how much you can actually put into the ecosystem by having it 0 fees. So he's extremely bullish on that. So in any case, this energetic spectrum, it's not, well, evidently it's not black and white because it's all colors, but it's not just like this straight line. There's going to be intersections here. So where do you actually exist on here? So impatience and patience, really understand yourself. So really, myself, 10 years ago, extremely impatient. Now I've become more patient. I would say I'm probably sitting between the blue and the purple. I would say emotional intelligence, same. Gratitude, probably more towards probably the same, actually. Calculated, more towards the high end of the purple. Research, more towards the high end of the purple. Positive, probably also more towards the high end of the purple. 10 years ago, no, I would have been on the other side. I would have been either the red or the orange. Yeah, probably just the red or the negative. I would have been like off the bloody thing here. I'm not even on there. It's like as deep, far red as you can possibly go. And so for me, this spectrum of energy is a fact. It's as fact can be for me. And even your boy, Albert Einstein, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Albert, the big dog, Einstein. I mean, if your energy matches this frequency, you will achieve the outcome of this frequency. You will not achieve it just because you have money in Pulsechain. You might get those big numbers, but if your mind is not ready to receive it and it doesn't have these characteristics and these qualities, there's a very high probability that you will not be able to capitalize on it, because not everybody can. That's not how the markets work. Only a small percentage of the people make the full capitalized gains on it. Majority of people don't. That's just how markets are. So you have to try your best to sit here so you can take your slice of the pie. If you just think that it's going to be easy, it's not. It's really not. It's so not easy. Like, how can there be people who've been through these cycles many times? They've hit the multi-millions in multiple cycles and still have ended up with nothing because their mind is not right. You have to have the right mind. You have to have the mindset. Your energy has to match the frequency of that reality in order to receive it. Otherwise, you will not be able to receive it. So now let's go to this market psychology thing. There's 2 ways that this actually occurs. So there's buying and selling. So I'm just going to go through the process of buying. So the disbelief stage. So who is buying in the disbelief stage? This is the people who are patient, with high emotional intelligence, who are grateful. They research, they have high conviction. The market, the majority of the spectrum, again, only a small percentage of the spectrum actually maximizes their gains from the market. The majority are in disbelief. Okay, so only the really masterfully minded people are seeing the disbelief and going, now it's time to buy. Now it's time to buy. I have that conviction that this is going to be a solid project and I'm going to buy. They also know that it's not a certainty. Nothing is a certainty. So even Pulschain, again, you have to accept that probability. This is the thing. We want that certainty. You will never, ever get that certainty. You cannot possibly get that certainty. There is absolutely no guarantees. That's the thing. You can have the highest degree of certainty, but it can never be 100%. So don't search for the 100%. It's an impossibility. Just like you can't read the future, you cannot get that 100% certainty on where things are going to go. You can just have that degree of conviction based on your research, but you cannot be 100% certain. It's really as simple as that. Then you have hope. So then other people, so then the spectrum is starting to move. So these people who sit within this spectrum, they're getting the evidence now. The chart is moving in my favor. So I'm going to start buying now. So these people here, they have control over their mind. They're starting to see, all right, yep, no worries. Then we start to go into the optimism. So the people in the middle, so the people now who really need that evidence. So people who are just like, all right, well, I'm just following the candles. Everything's looking good. Everyone's feeling optimistic. I'm going to start buying as well. Then the belief, like this is going up. Yep, 100%. The whole world is vibrating with this idea. Then the thrill, it's like, man, it's an expression of the world. The thrill, it's like, when water becomes hot, it's just the vibration is like the vibration of the molecules is increased, and it's the same as the world and the thrill and the euphoria. The vibration of the world is like, whoa, this is fantastic. I can't believe this. I've just done a 10,000x. Hex has done a 10,000x. Your uncle all the way along here is saying cryptocurrency is a scam. Cryptocurrency is a scam. Why don't you just keep working? It's too much of a risk. Have you heard that Bitcoin did this? Oh, wow. How's things going in Bitcoin today? Should I buy some Shiba Inu? The world. If you see that's my uncle, you cannot recognize the world. You have to see it from the perspective of the universe, that, everything is just the universe, and I'm going to objectively observe what is the universe showing me. And that's where that martini guy, Sommi was showing, that martini guy is showing you, the world is showing you where the mood of the world is, where we are in this chart based on the spectrum of humanity. So now we're at the halfway point. So then things start coming down, complacency. So now, obviously, smart people, they aren't buying here anymore. The smart people are out and they're selling here. So then it flips. I'm going to show that in just a minute. So you start to get complacency. The chart starts to dip down, anxiety, denial, panic as things keep going down. I mean, as you go through this, I've felt all of this. I felt all of this through Hex, the euphoria, going to my brother on my birthday, and I was a millionaire on my birthday, on my freaking birthday. It's like, what a present. And then it immediately went down. I remember even being on a stream with at the time it was what was their name? It was some of the big dogs, Wales Only, Kareem, Matty Allen, one other dude, but I forgot what their show was called. But I remember being on there and like, man, I've hit 7 figures and it was my birthday and they shouted me out and it was awesome. It was like this big pinnacle moment. But then after that, things are starting to go down. My cousin's telling me sell. The world is saying you should sell. You have this huge portfolio. What's wrong with you? Start selling. No. Why? Didn't have emotional mastery, was being greedy. It's still going to keep going up. It's still going to keep going up. Then the anxiety, it's starting to drop. You're checking the chart, that fear in the pit of your stomach, that anxiety, your heart, the tension. And then the denial. No. We've got Pulschain coming. It's going to be good. It's going to be all good. It's going to start going up again. No problem. And it did. It came back up a little bit. And we sacrificed. And then the panic, things are going down. I've got a tax bill now. And people are telling you, just sell, just get out. I'm like, I'm not getting out now. I'm like, way too low. I've got this tax bill. And then the anger, the anger at the world. This is shit. How can this be? Like, starting to get pissed off at the people who did capitalize on it, being jealous, being envious, and starting to hate them. Like, you and your positive mind, where you sit on there is reacting against that. It's like, when you have a really cold glass of water and you empty the cold glass of water, and then you put it in boiling water and it shatters. It's the same thing. Where your consciousness is, it's not in harmony with where they are. So you're jealous, you're envious, so you're angry, you're spiteful at them. You want to take it out on someone. That energy that's circulating in you has to come out. So you take it out on the world, you take it out on people. Then the depression. This is where we are in Pulsechain. We are in the depression. And I know this because people who I thought were never going to show any signs of doubt are starting to show signs of doubt now. I can feel the lowness of the words that they're saying. They're feeling really low. They're feeling really depressed about it. Are we really ever going to get out of here? They don't really believe that we can ever get out of here. Before that, there was the anger. I can even still see elements of that anger. Oh, the sacrifice money. When's Richard Hart going to use all that sacrifice money? Where did that go? Rah, rah, rah. You can see that. The anger, the fighting. You don't see, man, when prices are going up, nobody's fighting. Everybody's happy. You just then your consciousness goes whoop, and it flips to here. So all that anger that you were in before is gone. And it's like, yay, we're all friends. It's the best community on the planet. It's the best cryptocurrency community. And then EHEX or PHEX, it's like it's just energy that is not in harmony with itself, and we're all just existing in this spectrum in different ways. And this is why humanity, it is the one existence. It is the one existence, but even inside of our minds, we're so divided, and this is why there isn't any true harmony on the planet. And so this is why there's fighting and clashing, because of the ego, because the ego divides itself from this. But nevertheless, even though the ego divides itself from this, it can't not be in that ocean of existence, because it just is that. So it's like kind of a contradiction. And so when's the disbelief going to come? Maybe it's going to start coming now, when prices are going to start going back to the sacrifice rate. And oh, here we go. Are we really going to start going up now? People are going to start to question it. Perhaps you'll start to see the signs in the world. The world will show you the signs. This is why Twitter is so amazing. It is just like, it is. I'm on Twitter because for the sentiment analysis, and I love connecting with the community. It's phenomenal. Now let's go to the selling. So in the selling, it switched. So it's switched now. So the selling is in reverse. So these people, the ones who are in the mastery of their mind, are the ones that are selling now. Does this necessarily mean that the ones who are buying are also selling at that point? I don't believe that they necessarily are. I believe that they're two different skills. So in the disbelief, these people are really capitulating now. These people who have no control over their emotions, they're impatient, they're FOMOing, they're starting to feel really fearful, and things are just like, things are starting to go up a little bit. It's gone from all the way down here and things are starting to go up. I'm going to sell on a little bit of a profit. I'm just getting out. I can't take the pain anymore. They're selling here. Then the hope. These people will start to sell a little bit. Yes, now I've started to get towards my break-even price. Optimism starting to get towards my break-even price. I'm getting out. But then these people, as we start to get into this stage, the belief, the thrill, the euphoria, this is where I want to be. I want to be in this euphoria. I want to feel that I'm so in tune with my emotions. When I'm feeling that euphoria, I know that I'm not some individual thing that's separated from the rest of the world. I know that everybody else is feeling euphoric. You can see the energy on Twitter. You can see like Pulsechain is trending and Hex is trending and Richard Hart was right and everything's trending. That's the euphoria. That's the signs of the euphoria. Every single group chat is exploding. People who haven't said a word for a year are now starting to type, oh, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? There's the euphoria. There's the euphoria. And I got a real good, clean snapshot of it when we first launched Pulschain. And I was saying it to my buddy Hex Holmes. We always communicate with each other about these things. But what we were short-sighted on was our research wasn't up to point. So we were both like, this is the top, but our research wasn't up to point. Because we were predicting 5 to 10x. And we're like, no, it's only a 3x. It's not going to start selling here. It's too soon. But what we didn't see was it's a 5x for the whale sacrifices. It wasn't a 5x for us pleb sacrifices. It was only a 3x for us. Well, not only, it's still fantastic, but we were waiting for that 5x. That was our thesis. We're going to wait for that 5 or 10x and start to scale out and start to sell out. So our research was what was lacking. So again, it all comes down to the mind. Our mind wasn't prepared. Our mind wasn't ready. Then the complacency, starting to sell. Even these guys are really starting to sell on this side as things are starting to go down. You're never going to pick that perfect top. So this is why it's a spectrum. If you were lucky enough to pick that perfect top, good on you. You're not going to be doing it all the time. So even Richard Hart, he called the top on the day, but he didn't call the bottom. He got that wrong. So he can never get it perfect. But Dickie, your boy Dickie, he sits within this spectrum of understanding the market. So he knows, he can see it. And he's doing the research. He's seeing like the gaps and what's happening in the macro, and this is why it's going to start dropping. And also, like, he's probably the one that's starting to dump it. All right, so complacency, anxiety. I mean, you hear like Ivan on Tech. One of his sales strategies is he doesn't sell it on the way up, he sells it on the way down. So as things are coming down and then you get a bounce up, he'll start to sell it here. So everybody's got their own different little strategies. I want to start selling it based on how I feel in the world, how I see the world. That's why people say don't trade based on emotion. I disagree, actually. I think if you have the emotional intelligence and you use the emotion as a guide, don't trade on that emotion as in, oh, I feel really afraid, I'm going to sell everything now, or I feel really greedy, I'm going to buy everything. It's almost like do the opposite. You're just using yourself as a gauge. You're using the world as a gauge. I'm going to do the opposite of that. Panic, anger, depression, and disbelief. So again, this is where the people are selling within this. So now these, this is just my opinion. Who are you? Where do you sit on this spectrum? And I do believe that they are two separate skills. So I believe that the skill for buying is different to the skill for selling. And I believe that based on my own experience. So I think that they're two separate skills, two separate degrees of mind mastery. And so I need to understand for myself. So I've developed a plan coming into this bull market. I had a plan last bull market, but it wasn't well developed. So I've reflected on it. I've advanced it. I've adapted it, and I've learned from my mistakes. But I noticed even coming into Pulschain, my capacity to sell was not strong because I had an attachment to the token. I didn't want to sell. And so, how come I can buy? Buying was easy because I had this attachment to the token. I want to buy more. I want to accumulate more. So buying was easy, but selling was not. Selling was not easy. So it's a different skill set. It's a similar skill set, but it's different. So the way that I've actually learned to harness this is, and this is why I have no shame about being in memes. I have no shame whatsoever. Like charts are charts. I don't really care. A small percentage of my bag is in memes because I'm telling you now, if you're just going to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate and you have no experience whatsoever in selling, you are not going to be able to recognize this. You might be, and I wish you all the best, but you are going to be, if this whole time you're just like, I'm just going to hold, 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 I'm just going to hold. When are you actually going to sell? When are you going to actually pull that trigger? Your emotions will take over you as well. So unless you have a very strict plan and you have like, okay, I'm going to sell at this point, or based on this percentage, or based on what I see here, there, X, Y, and Z, then it's going to be very, very difficult to sell. So I have no shame about this. So I've started to develop the skill of selling, and I'm getting very confident in it and very confident in my buying. And I've done this by dividing my sells and buys into threes. This was what I felt was a big problem for me because of the attachment to the token and not wanting to be wrong. So if I say I'm going to sell everything at this point, what if I'm wrong? What if it keeps going? That's what prevents me from actually wanting to sell. What if I'm wrong? But if I sell in thirds, so if I plan on selling, if I've got 3 million Pulsechain and I go, all right, well, I'm not going to sell 3 million. I'm going to sell 1 million. It keeps going, 1 million. It keeps going, 1 million. Great, I've covered all bases. And if it keeps going, it's like, all right, no problem. I did the best that I could and I accept that. But if I sold all 3 million here and it keeps going, it's like, damn, that really sucks. And of course, you could get lucky and sell all 3 million here, but the probability of that happening is very low. So the selling in stages of 3 counteracts that. And the same as buying in stages of 3. You want to get that bottom, but when is the bottom? Things keep dropping. And if you bought all your position here, and these are the mistakes that I was making with Hex when I was re-entering into it way too early in the bear market, I was spending my entire clips on it here. I should have been waiting, but I didn't have this rule of thirds defined. It wasn't in my plan. I was just going with how the market was making me feel. And now I've got a plan. So the emotion in the mind is in alignment. So the body and the mind is in alignment. So I can really adapt to it. And again, like I said, I'm no expert. I'm just here learning. I'm trying to learn off everybody else, and I'm just trying to stay open. And my plan is also, one of the elements of my plan is that it has to adapt. It can't be fixed. It has to be open-minded and adaptive. It has to be accepting of the conditions. So if I start buying a third here, a third here, and a third here, that is beautiful, because we never know if it's ever going to get down here. You never know. But if I unloaded my entire clip here and it keeps going down, it's like, God damn, you're just kind of in that suffering. But if you've always got that dry powder, it's beautiful. It's such a, the relief on my mindset is phenomenal. This stages of 3s, buying and selling, has just been the best thing on my consciousness when it comes to interacting with the market. It really has given me a degree of ease that I'm so in love with, and I'm so happy with my plan. And everything is in threes. The sectors that I focus on is threes. Really, Mark Zuckerberg, um, Elon Musk, all these kind of guys, they just wear the same thing every day. Why? Because they don't want to waste brain power on decision making. The monkey mind, just overthinks, and it overthinks based on all the stuff you've got in there. You might think that you're more clever because you've learned more things, read more books, understood more things, but it just means you've got more stuff in your mind to compete with what's right, what's wrong, and it makes it very difficult, actually. And this is why I'm a big proponent of meditation, because when your mind is clear, all that stuff is not just bouncing around, it's sitting in there in this beautiful order, and then you can recall on anything that you need at any time. You have the wisdom because you are that infinite consciousness. So the infinite consciousness knows what's the right. You're not trying to guess it from within those concepts. Those concepts are in there, and the universe is what guesses it. The universe is what makes those decisions. That's really what I'm a huge proponent of meditation. Huge for every aspect of your life. I think it's something that everybody's going to be doing in the future. Kids will be doing it. Kids shouldn't be having anxiety at 7 years old. They shouldn't be having anxiety at 5 years old. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's because they have the minds of their parents. Just like we look like our parents, we also have their mind traits. So there's no wonder why anxiety, stress, depression is increasing in the world, because the parents have that. They've given that to their kids, and their kids are giving it to their kids. And now these kids have all got all this stuff stored in there. So any condition, they're like, oh, I've got all this, it's already in there. So it's like that's what they're reacting against. They haven't let go of all that stuff in there. The cells, every one of their cells is intoxicated with all those minds. This will be something that's going to be a fact in the future. And it's something that they're proving with trauma. It's something that they're proving in epigenetics. So for me, it's a fact of a fact of a fact. But I'm like, again, I'm on this side of the spectrum that perceives it to be a fact, and everybody thinks that I'm a lunatic. Or when I talk about meditation, they're like, oh, kumbaya, sitting down and doing nothing all day. It's like, I really don't do that. I have more energy. I do more things and more people that I know. But people have these concept of what they think meditation is. But in the future, everybody's going to be doing it. Everybody's going to be doing it in the same way that you exercise, you will be meditating. You have to take care of your mind. It's really as simple as that. Like you don't need to be a macho man and I'm going to fight my mind, and I'm just going to alpha my way through the world, and just do what's right for your mind, do what's right for your body. You got to eat the right food, you got to exercise, and you got to take care of your mind. So in my older videos, I've spoken a lot about these types of things as well, my plans, how I do the buying and selling. So if you're interested, go back and have a look at some of my original videos, and maybe it might even interest you to see like that progress. Because again, this is a story, this is a journey from there to here, and then the receipts to show that journey. And then if I am one of the people that does become successful at the end of this, because again, not everybody's going to do it, but if I have those receipts and I have that evidence, then hopefully people will start to pay more attention to this idea of meditation, because that is the most fundamentally important thing. It's that which is helping me more than anything with all of this mindset stuff. So the growth and knowing yourself. So with all of this, where do you sit in that spectrum? What is your plan? Do you actually have a plan? If you haven't got a plan, I strongly recommend having a plan. Everybody that is successful has a plan. They have a vision, they have a goal, what they're going to, what they're going to do when they get there. One of my mentors owns, I don't want to dox him, but one of my mentors, very successful. He could retire tomorrow, no problem, and live out the rest of his life, take care of his family easily. I really love and admire him. I really respect him. And he plans everything to the nth degree. Like every successful person, go read any book, plan, having a clear vision. Even in the Bible, they talk about having a clear vision. Like it's all there. You also need a plan. Why do you need a plan? Because humans are emotional. So when the world is feeling euphoric and you're also feeling euphoric, if you don't have a plan, if your plan doesn't say, when I'm feeling euphoric, start to sell, then you're not going to sell. You're not going to sell. You're going to think it's going to keep going forever. You're going to, because that greed is going to take over you. But when you have a plan and there's a system that you're following, there's a structure, it's going to make it so much easier. It's going to increase the likelihood of success, in my opinion. So if you don't have a plan, I've shared my plan in, I can email you my plan. If you want my plan, reach out to me on Twitter or even Telegram I'm a bit skeptical about, but probably prefer Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. I always pretty much follow everyone else unless it's like one of the many bots that I get, all those honeys that are looking for looking for their soulmate. It's like, baby girl, oh, I'm no good for you, baby girl. All right. How are you developing your buying skills? If you're just DCAing, yeah, that's great. Keep DCAing. If that's part of your strategy, that's fantastic. That's what I do. That's helped me a lot. And again, the buying in stages of 3. So when I have fresh capital, I'll bring the fresh capital over, but I'll buy it in stages of 3. And then as I'm doing this, it's also teaching me patience, because instead of just FOMOing in on the buy, because it's dropped, I'm going to FOMO in, I'll buy a little bit and I'll wait a week, 2 weeks. Oh, look at that. It's dropped even more. Whereas prior to that, when I first started doing this, I would buy, and then the next day, it's dropped 1%. I'm going to buy more. But then next week it drops 10% or 30% or 50%. So just being able to do that has made me more in tune with the movements of the market. So this is also one of the reasons why developing that skill for me has been really fundamental. How are you developing your selling skills? So again, I have no issues whatsoever with, with memes and other sectors. Like, as we know, Pulschain hasn't really moved. It's just been going down. So is Hex. It stinks. It sucks. If you're all in on this, it's shit. It's not a good experience when everything else is moving. But in the last bull market, Hex was very much decorrelated in many aspects. It would run at different times. It would either usually lead the market or lag the market. So this was a very interesting phenomena. So wow, I want to capitalize on that this particular time around. So now I've got some alluvium, and I sold 1/3 of my alluvium because I'm looking at everything going on, and it's like, whoa, things are starting to really go crazy. We hit 44K. So when we hit 44K Bitcoin, I started to sell my alluvium. Could be a mistake. It could be a mistake, but you know what? I've still got 2/3 to sell, and I don't plan on not getting back in. I'm planning on selling it and then rebuying a dip. That's the strategy. It's not so I can exit completely. It's so I can harness that skill of buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. And I do the same with memes, with just little small bags, buying and selling, buying and selling. The problem is you also do have to be careful, because if you sell, and then it drops and you buy, but then it just keeps dropping, you kind of get stuck with a tax bill and you can get stooged there. So it also has to be dependent on the stages of the market. And we're really early in the stages of the market. So it really, at this point, it doesn't really matter if you've got the conviction in the tokens, but there will come a point where it is going to matter. How are you managing and developing your mindset? So again, I use the 3 sectors. That helps me manage my risk. I was all in on Hex during the bear market, and it sucked. I should have been in stables. And also, because I was all in on Hex, then Hex is still going down while other things are moving. It's like it was shit. It was crap. It stunk, actually. It really stunk. It was really like, oh, I'm never doing that again. So as much as I love Hex, now I'm dividing in 3 sectors. So I'm keeping my attention on 3 different sectors, which is also allowing me to develop my attention and my skills in those different 3 sectors: AI and metaverse, Pulsechain, Richard Hart ecosystem, and blue chips, what's actually happening in the macro cryptocurrency. And then, of course, the reflection. So I'm always reflecting. I'm always creating a plan. I'm always saying, okay, what did I do wrong here? Why did I do this like that? How come I sold here? Why did this happen? Not just continuously repeating the same pattern again and again and again and again and again and never changing. And how do I actually change? The meditation is part of the self-reflection, because, man, emotions are so heavy. Some people are more emotional than others, but for me, my emotions are so thick. I used to be so enslaved to those emotions. So it's very hard to act against them. But through meditation of actually clearing away those emotions so I can detach from those emotions, that's been so profound. Clearing away my concepts about what I think is right, what I think is wrong. Like I remember when I was in South Korea, and I couldn't decide whether I stayed at the meditation center there or if I come back for this job. I was starting a new job. And I wanted to stay there, but I had to start this new job. In the end, I came back to Australia, but the job wasn't ready. I would have been better off staying in Korea. But you know what I did? I couldn't decide. My plane's tickets were bought and everything, but I was in the airport like in a meltdown, and I was like crying in the airport because I wanted to stay, but I couldn't make this decision because in my mind it's like, what's the right thing to do? Is the right thing to stay here and keep working on my mind? Because it's like I'm changing from the inside out. Everything is getting so much better, and if I get my mind right, everything else is going to be better. Do I do that, or do I go and do my job because that's the right thing to do? And I said I was going to start. Blah 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 blah. All these concepts running around in my head, and it's driving me crazy. And so I missed my flight. I was just there, like in action. Couldn't I missed the flight, cried, and then wasted $900 on another flight. Little soy boy tears and $900 straight down the drain. Pathetic because of my mind. So we're enslaved to our mind. Everybody, in some way or another. No, not in some way or another. Everybody, without exception, is enslaved to their mind. The programming that's in there from the life you have lived is how you talk, how you think, how you act. So meditation actually, it's not about clearing it away and I'm like this dumb and kumbaya and I'm just going to sit here and focus on my breath. And not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Power to you if that's what you want to do. That's not the meditation that I do. For me, it's like, if I'm just going to do something that makes me feel good, I'll just go have a beer. I'll go sink a couple of crafties, love myself a pastry stout. I feel really great. I'd rather do that. I'd rather do that than meditate and do breathing or something like that. What I want to do is I want to master my mind. I want to become the master of my mind, the master of my destiny. That's why I meditate, because it's teaching me how to master my mind, to detach from my mind, to eliminate that ego, to come out of those base impulses of what a human is, like the fighting, the arguing, the thinking you're right. The world is against me, the victim mentality. What's right? What's wrong? What should I do? I have no wisdom. I don't know anything. It's like, I don't want any of that. The negative thinking, all of those things. When you meditate, when you clear your mind, when you subtract those things from your mind, oh boy, our life becomes like magic, like a miracle, like an absolute profound miracle. And the world just flows and everything flows. And because you see that flow, you become that flow, everything just works out. Everything just works out. And so again, this is what my whole channel is all about, to really prove this as a fact. So there's no free lunches. So this is why I'm always trying to reflect. I'm always trying to understand these things, because there's no free lunches. You are the master of your own destiny. The market doesn't owe you a cent. You don't deserve that money. Alex Hormozzi said this the other day, and I loved it. The people who think that they deserve something are completely wrong. And I was like, hang on a minute. And it triggers that thing in you that's like, well, I deserve everything because I'm so special. But in actuality, who are you? Who are you to deserve something? Why do you deserve it, but not the kid in Africa who's starving to death and doesn't even have access to clean water? Why do you deserve it? You don't. You don't deserve nothing. You have to make your own reality. You are the master of your own destiny. The universe owes you nothing. The universe loves you. It is made of love. It's its very substance. The energy is love. 100% it is. It's God, mother and father. That's why I have mother and father right here. It's the universe. That is what God is. It's the mother and father. It's the energy and the consciousness, the energy and the light, the body and the consciousness, the body and the mind, the consciousness and the emptiness. It is that. But it loves you, but you are the master of your own destiny. So the world is going to go, it doesn't go according to what you have in your mind. It doesn't go according to that. You have to sync up to the world. You have to adjust to the world. It doesn't owe you anything. It's as simple as that. But if you learn that and come out of your mind and, you become the master of your destiny, you have that freedom. Boy, I've got to go to the gym and get huge now, because I'm not really that huge, but I'm trying to get huge. So thank you very much, everybody. That was a, here we go. That's one of my old episodes there, but an impassioned sharing. That's what this is about. It's about sharing. And because I'm seeing the signs from the world of the people that I love getting depressed, and one of my good friends today, shout out to you, Greg, saying he wants to sell 30% of his Pulse. And when I hear him say that, all I see is that spectrum. All I see is that depression. I see that depression. And people can deny their emotions. They can try and say and try and be positive, but they represent part of that spectrum to me. Now, does this mean that if he holds and doesn't sell that Pulsechain is going to go up? It doesn't mean that whatsoever, but that's what I see. I see that, and it just tells me where we are, and I remain in my convictions because, again, nothing has changed. When I first sacrificed for Pulsechain 2 years ago, and it felt right, and it was amazing, it was this great idea, it was this fantastic project, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And in actuality, well, that's a lie. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things have gotten better. Things are getting built. The community's just like exploding with this creative energy of creating all these applications and dApps and DeFi, everything, liquid loans. Like it's exploding with goodness, with positivity, but the price is going down. So people are reacting to the price. You're just reacting to the price. Doesn't mean the price is going to keep going down. I don't know. It could. You're never going to get that certainty. You're never, ever going to get that certainty. And the world doesn't owe you that certainty. That's the thing. The world doesn't actually owe you that certainty. You have to be the one that decides for yourself. I'm just telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I feel. I'm telling you how I see it. Whether or not it's true is a completely different story. Only time will tell. And this is also why I remain convicted in Pulsechain. This is why I have my convictions with what I'm in, because in the future, then I'll be able to look back and know whether those convictions were wrong. And where did I actually go wrong? Was I too attached to this? Was I too attached to that? Maybe Atropa goes to zero. Maybe Rob, maybe Shane Hart-Schuler was correct, and Maria was grifting us all and stealing liquidity. I don't think that whatsoever. I think that that's all bullshit. I think that's from people who haven't actually looked at it and haven't actually understood it, and they're only understanding it based on what they've got in their mind. If you haven't actually read the chat logs, if you haven't actually tried to understand what's actually going on, then of course you're going to be skeptical of it. That's only natural. That's how humans are. We err towards negativity. This is a scientific fact. So I don't blame people for that, but the future will tell the story whether or not, hey, Shane Schuler was right. I should have listened to Shane Schuler. That was the world saying, Steve, you're an idiot. Get out. And why didn't you? Because you were attached to this, this, and this. And then I'll know for the future. When those signs start to come, when the world is showing me those signs and I'm having those feelings, then I need to act. It's all just a process. It's all just a learning process. And I'm here to learn together with everybody. I want us all to learn together. Coexistence is what it's all about. Coexistence is heaven. We're all family. We're all brothers and sisters to me, every single one of us. I love you all. Truly, I love you all. That the universe is love. The universe is love. One day, everyone's going to see that. Everyone's going to see that. And the world is going to be so fucking awesome. Right now, we're not there. We're not there. Everyone's like, oh, Israel and Hamas. And it's like, you fucking idiots. You are just the same thing. You're killing each other based on this, based on what you have in your mind. And it makes me... it just gives me the conviction to keep doing what I'm doing. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good weekend.